So, day one of the carnivore challenge. I've been working towards slowly cleaning up my diet. I went from eating junk food and being kind of a massive junk food addict to then stopping grains. So I cut out grains because I was convinced I was celiac, and my doctor didn't want to test for it. He just said, quit eating grains, and if you feel better, that's better, because otherwise I had to eat wheat and stuff for a month and test. Otherwise I'd get a false negative. So I've been off grains for about 12 years, except for rice. Then moved towards a more keto diet and started limiting the rice, and then went to almost carnivore. Now this is it. Feeling a lot clearer headed, but also very tired. And I'm hoping this will help me gain weight. I'm also hoping it makes me more emotionally stable. I'm having lots of mood swings. I quit sugar a couple of weeks ago, so that helped. But I've got neck stiffness. I recently cut out my natural anti-inflammatories. So I don't know if it's the inflammatories or it's the fact that sugar snuck into breakfast this morning, because there wasn't an ingredient list on the ham. So I think we ate sugar without realizing it. So I've had stiffness from here to here all day, very emotionally up and down. Today I don't know if this makes sense on a long-term basis, but I know a couple days earlier I was feeling like, this makes so much sense. So who knows? My legs are a little stiff. Going up and down the stairs feels like a huge task. It's really hot right now, so the rosacea is popping up a bit. It's a lot better than last year, though, because I've been cleaning up how I eat so much. And I'm hoping that the little veins in the rosacea will completely disappear eating this way. It did, like, the more carnivore I got, the more the psoriasis has been disappearing. So I've got some scar tissue, but my elbows are completely clear right now. Well, is that completely clear? Almost completely clear. It's 2 little bumps. So almost all the psoriasis is gone. I have a patch of psoriasis on the back of my head, and it's been getting progressively less itchy, which I'm really happy about. I was also diagnosed with erosive gastritis around Christmas time. The good news is my stomach burning is so much less frequent. I also have bleeding fissures in my stomach, and so hopefully that can be reversed, or at least not be attacked with oxalates and toxins from the vegetables. Muscle-wise, I'm really hoping, here's where I'm at, which is decent, because I carry my own amp and guitar, so I have, I think, impressive arms for my stature. I'm also a little higher up in weight, so I was at 103 pounds, which was scary, and now I believe I'm at about 117. Hopefully get up to 120, 125, because I would love to get my boobs back. I'm also curious to see if this can help heal nerve damage, since I am deaf in the left ear. Just out of curiosity, that was from being in a coma when I was 10 months old. And I'm curious to see if some of the hearing might creep back in, if the body's able to heal itself that far. For the last couple of years, I've been having massive issues with pressure in the right ear, so I'm looking forward to seeing if that will disappear as well. I wasn't eating any dairy for 2 years, and it did not help with the ear pressure and the congestion. I did reintegrate dairy since I was having so many stomach issues, and the yogurt really seemed to help with that. I will be cutting dairy again, probably around mid-month for this challenge, other than butter, because I need the fat. So I'm going to keep the butter, which is mostly fat. Luckily, I have really thick hair, because there are rumors going around that the hair loss can be an issue, although I've been finding that over the last year, not the dietary related, but stomach related. It has been thinning out a bit, which of course most people can't tell because it's so thick. I've noticed that the more carnivore I get, the less my right hip hurts. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that can completely go away. The arthritis that I got diagnosed with in my wrists and my elbows, the arthritis has been feeling less arthritic. I'm hoping that my sinuses clear up. I've had really runny nose first thing in the morning till about 1 in the afternoon for the last 2.5 years. I don't know where that's from. I don't know if it was reacting to mold in my old apartment, but I've moved to 25 different apartments in the last year around. That runny nose doesn't seem to be related to where I'm staying. So I'm looking forward to seeing if being stricter with what I'm eating will clear that up. I have high hopes that this will strengthen my joints and my muscles and hopefully nourish even my skeletal system. My teeth are feeling amazing. What my mom and I have noticed is that our teeth feel like we just came back from a cleaning most days, especially on the days we don't have any egg. There's no plaque. And that's one thing that's really encouraging us to move forward. It might sound like something silly, but it's tangible. And so to feel that tangible aspect of having the cleanest teeth, even, between brushings, and just being able to run our tongue over our teeth and be like, oh, they feel great. It's just something tangible that we're able to think, okay, we can keep doing this, we can keep moving forward. The hardest thing is definitely the mental hangups, like the having to get over the idea that vegetables are healthy. And it's funny because I had some pepper, the kitchen, I went to a restaurant because I was on a road trip. The kitchen forgot and put pepper on our fish, and about 15 minutes later, I had a tension headache. Luckily, it only lasted about an hour, but I'm definitely noticing the micro changes in my body a lot more. I equate it to when you have a luxury car and you're driving, you're going to feel that little stone in the road more than if you're driving a wreck. You could hit a boulder and then you feel it. But like when you're driving a wreck, it feels like a wreck all the time. So you can't feel the stones as well. It's the contrast. Like I think I am, even though I don't feel well today, I am feeling relatively much better and so much better than I did a year ago. And so that contrast is huge. It makes it so that any ache or pain feels so much worse than it used to because I'm actually feeling better more. I was in 2 rollover car accidents many years ago, and ever since my pain tolerance has skyrocketed. So most of the time my body has been in a state of pain to the point where I don't feel the pain, I feel the relief. The moments of relief where everything feels right and I'm not aching, I go, oh my God, I feel great right now. And then it goes away. It's the same with the hearing in my right ear. It gets blocked and then all of a sudden it pops and I can hear well and go, oh wow, I can hear well. And then it gradually goes away and it's muffled. Ah. One of the biggest changes I've noticed, like going from, my junk foodie Canadian diet to now, is that my anxiety levels have been decreasing steadily. I had a crazy experience with a car rental company in Mexico last week and was able to still sleep and not completely OCD about it. Ended up dealing with it really well and stayed grounded and a lot more in my adult. It didn't feel like this huge mountain. The whole time I felt like, okay, this sucks, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to get through it. And that's really shifted. Whenever there are hangups or whenever I have difficult situations creep up, it's like my whole system is calmer, so I'm more able to see clearly and deal with things as they're happening instead of having these delayed reaction fight or flight PTSD going on. That's the other thing I notice is the PTSD is becoming more manageable and lighter. I've never been a morning person. I know age definitely makes you a little more morning-y, but this that aside, I can't really stay in bed anymore like I used to. I used to be able to sleep 12 hours and still want to sleep in and didn't want to get up, even if I had things to do that day. So the depression has lifted already, and that's just from going really strict keto and from diminishing sugar intake. So that's really good. I'm also able to focus more on tasks without it being a side effect of the ADHD, where it's this calm focus, not an obsessive compulsive focus. So that's shifting as well. One of the things that really put me on, like, made me aware of the issues with plant-based food. I didn't know why, but every time I drank anything that had apple content, I would become just like Jekyll and Hyde and hate the entire planet. And then when the issues with my stomach got worse, that started happening whenever I ate pineapple, whenever I had orange juice, like citrusy things, acidic stuff. I now know that that was partially linked to the erosive gastritis and the acid reflux that ensued. But I also, the second anything creeps into my food now, that I've been about 3 weeks almost clean, it really affects me on an emotional level. It's interesting because I'm realizing that a lot of what I thought were personality traits, woundings from my childhood, patterns, things like that, are actually just diet related. Because when I'm eating clean, when I'm eating healthy, it's a lot easier to be happy, to be mindful. It's a lot easier to realize that I'm setting the glass down too close to the edge of the table and to just tuck it in a little. My accident rate has gone down because I've always been very hyperactive, a little bit scattered, and all of that is starting to lift. I am able to see to hear myself think, and to what I call the whispers. I'm aware of the whispers now. The whispers are the thing that say, oh, I think you're putting the glass too close to the edge. Like, be careful. And then you don't listen to it and it drops and you break it. So I'm hearing the whispers in a non-schizophrenic way. So yeah, citrus and spices. I was still using lemon to make hollandaise sauce because that was really helping me get over cravings, especially when I was PMSing. I was just drowning my steak and my eggs in hollandaise. But I do really want to try to be as strict as possible. So I've cut out the lemon juice. I've cut out all seasonings, herbs, and spices. I'm only using salt, meat. I'm so hopeful that I will get that surge they talk about where you want to work out and you don't even have to motivate yourself. That motivation's already there because you're excited about life. A lot of people who've gone carnivore talk about the euphoria. So I'm hoping that that will kick in. And now that I've cut out citrus and spices.